Sir, please proceed.
Thank you, Supervisors. It's Eric Previn from the 3rd District, and it was nice to have a little presentation with Dr. Katz, and good work at keeping him well reinforced with positive reinforcement. I think that's important to encourage people in this tough time. Item number 24 caught my attention because it is a $36.9 million funding for LASA, our treasured partners at the city, for this community, the CES program. That is a huge amount of money. I looked at the contract, and I must tell you, it is so complicated. I really hope that we are putting the money into the right choice by going in that direction. It's so weedy when you look at what they're supposed to provide. But thank you, because I know you're reaching in that direction. And H, there was a big meeting at the City of Angels, the 50 group putting together kind of a, let's get it all right. But are there audio links for those meetings? It would be great if there are. I asked Kathy Medina in the executive office, maybe she could report back. That would be great. Item 11, Supervisor Solis, you're a civic-minded person, and I appreciate it. You're providing some parking to get an event going for the Los Angeles Times, the big newspaper. They're putting a food bowl together. So we're putting together $45,000 in funding to make it accessible, and I do appreciate it. I just ask you to think about whether or not if we're funding one newspaper, do we have to do it for all the events at Grant Park? It raises some concerns. Obviously, it's coming from the right place, and I do appreciate it. Item 15, we are increasing from 7 to 11 the number of commissioners on the Contract Cities Liability Board. And this leads into a number of litigation discussions. Obviously, Richard Winton wrote about the city's disastrous liability problems in the LATimes. Today, at CS1, it was noted in your agenda from last week that we are not going to be paying punitive damages for the Lee Baca portion of the punitive damages. We will cover the other employees, but not the ones that were found against him. And then at item 38, surprisingly, we will be covering some nurse liability for the agency. But the problem is that there is really no information about what went wrong. I think it would be helpful for the public to have a sense of what went wrong. And then 42, 43, and 41 are other litigations. One is a retaliation harassment. One is a $3 million terrifying story about a kid who drowned. And finally, we have a pedestrian-related death. And this one caught my attention because since 2013 through 2016, the number of those pedestrian accidents have gone down 11%. So let's remember that as we get into a frenzy about Vision Zero and start citing our residents all over the place. Item 54 is $800 million little bridge loan. Citigroup, Global Markets, Inc., and Bank of America Merrill Lynch are working closely together, along with a group called Squire, Patton, and Boggs, to loan us that big chunk just for a very short period of time. How much interest for that very short time? We've been doing this that way for a long time. I don't know. And then the debt management policy is where, sir, you remember Mark Saladino, the treasurer, tax collector, the auditor, and the CEO all help with the bond funding and such. My concern is was that 2 minutes, sir, or was that a total of 3? That was 3, okay. I'll come back.
Next speaker, please. Thank you for your testimony. Dr. Clavero.